Hey there. Well, here we are again. Now, I had a few emails and a few questions from people asking about, again, the best way to learn pressure points and stuff like that. And, best way to practice and stuff like that, and where a couple of points actually are. So, last things first, some people are asking about a point called lung 5. I don't know why, but I had a couple of emails asking about lung 5. Okay, just there, look. Bending the arm. Right, easy way to find it. Crease the elbow, 2 fingers in, where that finger's left. Just there, lung 5, the round of the muscle. You've got to go real deep and push it against the bone, but deep before you push it against the bone. There you go. You can smack it one, poke it one, prod it one, whatever you want. Usually I find the best thing to do is hit things. Unless you're grappling and you can't hit it and you're caught up there, then dig right into it. Lots of local pain, brings the head forward, all sorts of things. Have a play with it and see how you get on. Which leads me on to how to train, how to practice and things like that. If you already have some knowledge of points and how to make them work, then there is no substitute for training. It's as simple as that. Take some of your favourite techniques, see how and where the points are that are relevant to that technique, and see how you can incorporate them into that technique. And that way, you'll find a way to make them work for you. And you just keep doing things like that with every technique you've got. Even if it's as simple as, or I say simple, but you'll understand what I mean. Even if it's as simple as a jab to the face. Pick a point on the face somewhere that you're going to hit. Practice hitting a very small target. Practice the best angle and direction to make that work in the most efficient way for you. And you do that with everything that you do. You're practicing anyway, so you might as well practice in the most efficient way. You see, most people practice and they just blindly practice. You'll see it all the time. It's probably going on in your club at every session you've been to. I've seen it everywhere I've been. Blind practice. And by that I mean, it's just simple things that they're just doing without thinking. You see people just hitting the bag and they're just bump, 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 and they're looking around, just hitting the bag or whatever. You see people in traditional martial arts up and down doing the basics. They're switched off, they're just up and down doing basics. There's no thought process behind it, no rationale behind it. But if you incorporate what I said into your training, where you're always thinking, always trying to train properly, that doesn't necessarily mean aggressively in 100% speed and power and stuff like that. It means using this and learning how and why things are working every single time you're training. Then you're using your training time very, very efficiently. And so it's not so much the length of time training that you do, but like I've mentioned many times before, it's the intensity within that training session. Now that intensity could be intensity of learning, it could be intensity of motion and speed and power and aggressiveness. So if it's a practice of a spar or mini fight or whatever it may be the super high intense. The intensity levels might be through the roof, but only for 5, 10, 15 seconds. And then you go back and again and again and again. So there's different types of intensity. So I need you to understand that as well. So when we talk about intensity, just like when we talk about players to the game, It's got many meanings. I mean, in every sense of that word, when you train, when you practice, to be intense with it. So that's the best way I would say to people to train if you already have some knowledge. If you don't already have some knowledge, or you've got more limited knowledge of the points and how they work, then obviously it's more difficult to do. Right? So, what I would say to you now is just get on the free course. It's only a small free course. I've mentioned it before. There's 8 great lessons on there with a ton of information built in, as long as you keep watching those 8 lessons. Don't just watch it and think, oh, I've seen that technique. Look at the underlying principles and listen to what's being taught, and you can apply those principles to lots and lots of other techniques. And then you can truly start to understand what your training is all about, and how to take those principles and apply them within your training to everything that you know. And things will start to pick up for you. That's why we picked those 8 lessons. There's a reason behind it. It's not just 8 lessons that are picked at random to give you an idea. It's 8 lessons picked at random, not really. It's 8 lessons picked out to give you an idea as to what we do and what we teach, but also to help you in your own training. Because if you can understand, appreciate and apply what's on those 8 lessons, you'll take your skills to new levels very, very quickly. Now, like I said, there's a ton of information contained within those 8 lessons. I know most people think 8 lessons, 8, 4 or 5, 6 minute lessons. How much information could there possibly be? I've been doing martial arts 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, whatever it is. You don't learn anything in 8 little lessons. It takes years, blah, blah, blah. No, you're right, you don't. If you're blindly practicing, you don't learn anything. And here's a harsh reality for people. Most people within the martial arts, if they've been training, let's say, 25 years, they've just been repeating year 4 for 21 of them, or year 3 even for 22 of them. Most people, most arts, this is a harsh generalization, most times are not learning, they're just repeating what they've been doing. Now, there's nothing wrong with repeating what you've been doing. I repeat what I've been doing almost every training session. The difference is, I'm not just repeating, for example, low section block, reverse punch, blindly. Just, must have done 3 million of them over the years or whatever. Everything is done with a purpose in mind. Now, the purpose in mind that each individual training session may change, and it may change many times during that training session, but there's a purpose in mind behind it. There's a reason behind it. There's something that is trying to be achieved. It's not just blindly going block, punch, block, punch, block, punch. There's a reason for it. And that reason is something that you need to incorporate in your training. And it's highly important that you do that. And it's highly important that you recognize if you're not doing it. And if you feel yourself just, lapsing into, stop, get some intensity going, practice properly, even if it's only for a few seconds, pause and go again. Keep that intensity, keep it going, and you'll find that your rate of improvement is astounding compared to what it was before. You truly do get an exponential increase in performance. Anyway, that's enough. I've been going on for far too long. If you've made it to the end of this, well done you. And I'll speak to you again soon. Keep the questions coming and I'll keep answering. Thanks a lot.